Hey guys, Micah here. So I'm showing you the flat map of Asia. So Asia is the world's largest continent on Earth, and also it contains a bunch of languages and cultures. A bunch of languages and cultures between Arabic, the Western or Arabic, between Arabic and the East Asian languages. The Asian languages are even included to the list as it was. The Asian languages include Russian, Kazakh, Mongolian, Mandarin Chinese, Mandarin Hong Kong, Mandarin Taiwanese, Uzbek, Turkmen, Kyrgyz, Tajik, Pashto, and Dari, which are the languages of Afghanistan, a country in South Asia. that touches the Persian Empire, Iran, and the Persian Empire from before. Pakistani or Urdu. It's also in the region of Hindustan in Pakistan and India. So is Hindi, Turkish, the language in Europe and Asia. Greek, Cypriot, also the languages of Cyprus. It's also in Europe and Asia, but it's not geographically in Europe. It's in the European Union too. Arabic is the language between Western Asia and the Arabian Sea. The Arabian Sea and the United Arab Emirates. Saudi Arabia. Japanese, Korean, Filipino. There are many languages. Variants of Filipino are Tagalog and many more, like Cebuano or the Tagalog scripts. Vietnam is Vietnamese. Laos is Lao. Cambodia is Khmer. Khmer is the language of Cambodia. That's also from the code. The language is Khmer. That's KH. .KH is Cambodia. They use the letter codes, the 2 letter codes. Thai, Burmese, Bangla, or Bengali as of now. Bengali is a language in Bangladesh and most parts of India. It touches the Bay of Bengal. There's even regional languages like Nepali or Dzongkha. Dzongkha is native to Bhutan. The southwest counterparts of India, the southwest parts of China are Dzongkha, speak Dzongkha in Bhutan. There's even Malaysian or Malay, Azerbaijani, Armenian, Georgian, Abkhaz. Abkhaz is the language of a disputed territory. Ossetian, also in the region of Ossetia with North Ossetia, Alania, and South Ossetia, a disputed territory. Indonesian There's even more like the Timor-Leste Portuguese, DFE, and the Sri Lanka languages, like the different Sri Lanka languages, Hebrew, Lebanese French. There's even the Arabic variant of Lebanon. It's called Lebanese Arabic. In North Korea and South Korea, they were the only countries that speak Korean. Parts of Russia, only the parts of Russia are the Far Eastern was in the North Asia, the Far Eastern. The Far Eastern's administrative center is Vladivostok. The countries in Asia are significant culture of people in Asia, and the countries include Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Mongolia, China, North Korea, South Korea. Korea is known as Korea, Republic of Korea in South Korea, and North Korea is People's Democratic Republic of Korea. Japan, Taiwan, or it's now controlled by China. It's an unclaimed territory. It's an uncontrolled territory, but claimed. India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, the Maldives, Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan. No. Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Palestine, or the state of Palestine, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, dozens more like Pakistan, dozens more like the South Asian countries and the Indochina countries like Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. The Southeast Asian countries include the non-Indochina countries that are in mainland Southeast Asia is Myanmar and Thailand. It even includes dozens of Chinatime, like the Philippines, which is where I live, which is my country, but I am a giver of Luzon in the Philippines. Indonesia, only most of islands have the Beijing time. Indonesia. Only Bali in the Java. There's an island called Borneo. There's some islands, famous islands like the Philippines, Taiwan, Japan, and so many more like Sri Lanka, the Maldives. Cyprus is also an island. Greater Cyprus is an island. Timor is also an island. The largest islands are Sumatra, Borneo, Honshu Island. Honshu Island is home to Japan's capital, Tokyo. Japan's capital is Tokyo, as you can see right there. It's located within the south of the Kuril Islands. There are some islands like Luzon, Mindanao, Sulu, and dozens more like Sulawesi. It's located the Aleutians, which are located in North America and Asia. The Sakhalin Oblast is also an island. The Sakhalin Oblast is an island feature is an oblast, Russian federal subject oblast, featured with its flag is the whole map. And then the islands Sakhalin and Islands are called the Sakhalin Oblast. Korea to the south is Japan. That's what you heard. The northwestern, only the Ural, Siberian, and Far Eastern regions. No, they're called federal districts. The federal districts are only in Asia. But some parts of the European federal districts are in Asia. Parts of Sinai Peninsula is only from the country of Egypt. In Asia, as communicated to the culture of many of the people from the United Arab Emirates, when they spoke Arabic in the United Arab Emirates. Arabic is a language. There's so many languages in Asia like Arabic, Hindi, Filipino, Korean, Japanese, Mandarin Chinese, and Indonesian. The languages are they're both in there's so many republics. The Kamchatka Krai is bordering, it's in the Aleutian Islands. The Aleutian Islands is in the Pacific Ocean. Was included to be it's in the Far Eastern and the West Pacific Division of the United States. And the Western Pacific, most parts of Asia touch the Indian Ocean and the Pacific, mostly in the Pacific Ocean. Asia also touches a vast amount of seas like the Caspian Sea, the Azov Sea, the Black Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, the Sea of Japan, which also is a sea of Russia, one of the seas in Russia that is included. The Philippine Sea, which is in Australia, both Asia and Australia. The Philippine Sea. The Philippine Sea has a vast amount of islands. There are some islands like Palau, Tobi, and many more. There's many more seas like the Yellow Sea, the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal, the Red Sea, the Persian Gulf, Gulf of Oman, Java Sea, the Timor Sea. The vast amount of seas, like there's so many more, like the China Seas, one of the Chinese seas, and the Sulu Sea, Celebes Sea. Celebes is the southern part of the southern part of the Philippines and the northern part of Indonesia, Sulawesi, an island in Indonesia. It even includes a vast amount of islands like the islands of Yamal Peninsula. The Yamal Peninsula is also an island. No, it's not. It's the Yamalan Nenets is in Asia, but the Nenets is in Europe. That's half true. The St. Lawrence Island, the Bering Sea is also a sea in Asia that touches Kamchatka Krai and the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. Kamchatka Krai is the only province that is within the Aleutian Islands in Russia, the only federal subject. There are some states in India that aren't overseas. There are some union territories in India that are in overseas, like the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Capital is Port Blair. To the south is it's in the Indian Ocean. The amount of seas is the East China Sea, which touches most islands of Japan. Within the Luzon Strait is also a sea in the Philippines. And the West Philippine Sea, which touches Vietnam too. Touches Vietnam and Malaysia connected to each other. The Philippine Sea is also in the Indonesia Riau Islands. The Western Philippine Sea. The West Philippine Sea. The Laptev, East Siberian, and Chukchi Sea is one of the seas in Russia that you never heard about, that you never went to, even me. And there's some provinces. There are provinces in China with the most populated. Asia's home to the most populated country in the world, which is China. There's some like India, Indonesia, dozens more like Pakistan, Bangladesh. Those are the dozens like their least populated countries, like microstates, the Maldives. The smallest country in Asia is the Maldives. The Maldives is an island. It's near the seas of Australia. The Cocos and the Cocos Islands. The Christmas Island is in Australia. The Christmas Island and Cocos Keeling Island are the only islands in Australia that are in Asia. The vast amount of islands are microstates, like the Maldives. That's a microstate. Korea is a region in Asia. The Hokkaido is also an island. Prefecture that doesn't border any country. But to the north is Kuril Islands. There are some regions like the Middle East. The Middle East is containing a lot of countries in Asia, but not the West. It's also formerly known as West Asia, except for Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan to be more specific. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, subscribe for more creative content. Take care.